Welcome to the Beer N Bulldogs. We're here to celebrate the American Pit Bull Terrier through history, responsible ownership, and appreciation. All discussions are for legal, ethical, historical, and educational purposes. No illegal activities ever. We stand firmly against animal cruelty and dogfighting, both of which violate the Animal Welfare Act of 1976. Let's keep it positive and give these amazing dogs the respect they deserve. Cheers!
About to go down, so who's gonna be my dogs? Cause I'm about to break some laws. I ain't supposed to get in any trouble again. If I do, they gonna put me back in the pen. But you like to dodge my calls, so I'm about to break your jaw. I ain't scared of doing time, it ain't even on my mind at all. So who's gonna feed my dog?
Welcome to Beer N Bulldogs. I'm your host, Calypso, and this is the show where we talk about the game-bred American Pit Bull Terrier, working breeds, and all things Bulldogs. Over a cold one, of course. Today, well, happy St. Patrick's Day. We got a special guest for you. This guy, well, every once in a while you see a guy out there who just has that special sauce. Some of the best Eli blood I've seen around, man. And, I don't even know if I want to just talk about it. I kind of want to get into the interview and let him talk about it because there's so much that he could tell you about it that I can't. Let's just get into it. We got Eric Wheeler from Game Plan Kennels. Yo, what up, Eric?
Hey, what's happening, my brother? How you doing?
I'm doing well.
That's good. God's good.
Let me turn you up just a little bit in my right here. Okay. Yeah, we're good, man. So how have you been?
Man, I'm blessed, man. I can't complain about nothing. I'm blessed.
Oh man, I love to hear that. Same here, man. Same here. Well, you know what it is, man. I have some questions for you.
Yes, sir.
So,
but first, I like to start off this by saying I'd like to thank you for having me on your podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Give me this opportunity to share a little bit of my knowledge towards the game dog world.
Man, well, this is the way to get it in, man. This is good, man. I was gonna ask you. I wanted to ask you, when did you get your first American Pit Bull Terrier? But I wanted to ask just a little bit of a different question. When did you first see your first American Pit Bull Terrier?
Well, I had an uncle, and he had two dogs with Kareem and Angie. Both of them was American Pit Bull Terriers. I think they were UKC registered back then, and this was in probably early '80s when I first, really seen the dogs and started liking the dogs. It was through his hands.
Oh man. Okay. Did he name him Kareem after Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
I'm not sure. I know that's a question I never asked him, right? But let me tell you, they was 100% Bulldogs. And I guess back then it was when the the UKC still had a lot of the dogs was being registered, back then in the early 80s with UKC before a lot of stuff got transferred over to the APBT.
Yeah. Man, that's cool, man. But now I'll just ask you straight up. When did you get your first American Pit Bull Terrier, and how old were you?
Wow, man. And you making me say my age on this thing.
You don't look it. I was going to tell you that you don't look it. They say black don't crack, man.
Hey. Woo. Man, I can't say I'm a roughly man. Oh man, can't even say that age because I had him before then. I'm gonna say between the age of 12 to 15 years old, probably when I got my first dog. It was unpapered, and after that, right there, like I said, my first encounter was my uncle. And then after I've been with the dogs, with non-paper dogs for so many years, and I learned more about from the dogs just owning those non-paper dogs.
Yeah. Well, what got you so interested in them when you got those dogs?
Well, my dad, he's a dog lover. He he's a hunter, a fisherman, an all around man. But he raised rabbit dogs, deer dogs, and stuff like that. So I was bred up and raised up around dogs, and I was used to train rabbit dogs, deer dogs, coon dogs with him. And as later on in life, I gradually started loving the American Pit Bull Terrier.
Oh, so you just had a love for dogs, and then you just saw something special about those American Pit Bull Terriers.
It's nothing like owning one.
Yeah, man. I can tell you. Yes, I know what you mean, man. But I see that you had other breeds of dogs. So what got you more interested in the American Pit Bull Terrier over those other breeds that you had?
Well, the number one thing that got me for these dogs right here, first of all, the love for people, their drive, their intelligence. Their intelligence out of the world. And a lot of the dogs don't get the love and respect that they deserve to get. But man, these dogs right here are second to none.
Mm-hmm.
When I leave this earth, I'm gonna die on an American Pit Bull Terrier. And I think I can speak for a lot of other people. They probably feel the same way.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Because I'm just thinking, what do you say to those people who think, and I know because I was a young man and who think that the American Pit Bull Terrier is just some dumb brute of a dog.
Well, I would tell them first they need to learn who they are as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Because to understand the dogs, you got to understand you as a person. And these dogs are just like your kids. You learn from them the same way you learn from your kids. When your kids go out there to do something great and your dogs go do something great, whether it's conformation or hog training, whatever, you cheer them, you love them. But to mismanage these dogs, that is not good for the breed itself or people like me and people like you, want to make sure we keep the high standards of these dogs right. But in the wrong hands, whether these dogs going out here hurting people, attacking people, that's not good.
No.
And it's not really on the type of dogs that I breed, the game bred American Pit Bull Terrier, that is doing it. It's with people who don't have the knowledge to take care of these dogs in the right way.
Mm-hmm.
If you got the knowledge, Dale, to make sure they safely secure from people, from the community, number one. Because sometimes your dog could be the good thing in the world, ain't harming nobody, but the community on itself will put a stigmatization on the dog, making the dogs look bad.
Mm-hmm.
And there ain't nothing wrong with the dog. But sometimes you got to take care of that right there and say, hey, you know what? Block your property off from people. Because some people might just don't like you just having that breed of dog. It just might want to cause problems.
Mm-hmm.
Versus some people don't want to go out to the yard, check the yard set up, keep the yard clean and stuff, and cause problems on itself at the same time.
Mm-hmm. I was just thinking while you were saying that a guy I knew who, we talked and we had a conversation one day, and I kind of told him that the dog he had wasn't an American Pit Bull Terrier. I don't do that no more. But I told him it was an American Bully, and we had conversation where he was a little upset, but he was talking.
Sorry about that.
He was talking all that, what he would do with his dog and blah blah blah. And
Right.
we was just young, and I told him, I was like, man, hey, bro, that dog you have is not an athlete like my dog. And we kind of went there, and he saw my dog. He said, I want to see this dog of yours. And I was proud to show him my dog. He didn't even think it was a pit bull. That's why I know that what you just said right there. He called my dog Santa's little helper. He called him Santa's little helper because he didn't understand the slender frame of my dog. He thought it.
One is bred to be a complete working dog. When I mean it's complete working dog, as for hog catching, police training, anything you want, our dogs can do. Yes. If you want them to just lay up in their bed for you, they can do. Where the other one is bred for color.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens in that right there, gene pool, you don't know what you're adding to it. Yeah. Well, I'm going to speak for myself. I know what I'm putting in my genetic gene pool because what I would not allow just anything in my gene pool.
Yeah. I could tell. You're one. I should have said that when I was going to do my thing. I was gonna say this is a man that if you look at your pedigree, you could tell you ain't just breeding every dog that's in your yard together because they're dogs in your yard. Everything is a very. That's why you call game plan kennels. You
gotta have a plan. You gotta have a plan, my brother. Gotta have a plan. Definitely, that is the main thing behind these dogs, and knowing why you're breeding, what you're breeding, and what are you looking for in your breed.
Right.
Because if you don't know where you're going and where you're trying to get at, because all of it's a process.
Mm-hmm.
And where a lot of these guys fall short at today is they'll breed a dog. They might not get the results they was looking for, but they got results.
Yeah.
And they're ready to discard the whole thing and instead of work the process out and get it done. I'm gonna say something like people like Tom Garner. I'm gonna speak on him, Ed Farron, and James Crenshaw. And I'm gonna say Glory Kennels, Pat Patrick. A lot of legends out here in the game. And South Bottom Kennels and Swamp Water. I'm gonna give all the boys right here salute. But what I'm saying about all these peoples, they got a program.
Right.
They don't throw away their dogs.
Right.
They work the program.
I want to ask you about when you got your first game bred American Pit Bull Terrier. You knew what it was. Or maybe you didn't know, but you knew it was a real dog. You was like, it's got my papers or whatever. When you got that dog, can you tell me about when you got that dog and what he or she was like?
Yes. And I'll be honest on this one right here, because I had plenty of dogs. But it's one that captured me. It was a dog I got from Tom Garner back in 2004. Mm. And like I said, I had plenty of Eli dogs before then. But this one was special. He was off of Garner's Champion El Negro, bred to his daughter that was off his mom, Shauna Rose, right? And this dog, his name was Rude Boy. And back then, I used to go up under the kennel name as God's of War Kennel. That's my old name back in the days. But he was some type of special. And man, throughout the years, I had fell short. And, I left the scene for many years and came back 10 years later, 10 and a half years later, the dogs were still doing it. Now it's 20 years later. The El Negro line of dogs has been some of the best Eli dogs in the world, you know. And so, but that rude boy dog, let me tell you something, bro. You just have to be there to just experience anything with him. It was breathtaking. Put it that way. That today, my whole yard, half my whole yard surrounds around just because my time with that dog.
Man, you know what? And it's so real when you're getting that dog that actually came from the dog. You know what I mean? You got a lot of people who
Yeah,
say like, oh, today so many people will say a certain bloodline. And I don't want to go out. I don't want them to get pissed with me, so I ain't gonna say it. But they'll
yeah,
say a certain bloodline. But really, truthfully, you're like, bro, you don't have that dog. that, that
yeah.
dog, that dog been passed away before you was born.
Yeah.
Some people, but they'll keep hollering that same dog because it came down that line. And but you talking about the thick of
You
it.
know, Tom say when you breed the Eli dog and Red Boy dog together, and which is true. And if you go 75% Red Boy, you're looking for more Red Boy genetics in the dogs. When you go 75% Eli, you're looking for more of the Eli trait within it, which can give you that more of the biting power.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. But if you got a scatterbred dog, you don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah. I mean, I probably, and I love an Eli dog. I really, really do. I think I probably would go with I think I'd go with a little bit more of a red boy lean to it. But I totally understand, and just because uh, I like them. I like a wild dog. I like a crazy ass dog. People don't like it. I know, and my wife.
That red boy will give you a wild dog.
My wife. In your days when you were first getting started, was there any guys that you looked up to who you found to be like an influence or anything like that?
Well, like I said, my first experience was my uncle, but everybody around me was not, there like that. They with them. We played with them when we was younger, but even today, none of them. There's half of them don't even own the dogs, or they're nowhere. But I'm gonna tell you, like I said, I keep going back to the same man, but I'm gonna tell you why. Tom. I bought a dog from Tom back in the early, like I said, early 2000s, around 04, 03. And when I first, going to him, I said, "Hey, Tom." I brought about 4 or 5 dogs from Tom. I said, "Who should I breed them together?" Be a novice. Tom said, "It doesn't matter." And I didn't understand it back then, but I grew to learn it. Because he only gave me one part of the puzzle. The other part was they all family. If you look back at them, all of them got either Chinaman or Spike, one of them in the thing. Frisco, we all know, came from the same thing. So I learned to watch him. And so then I looked back throughout time and I looked at his program and I said, I don't have the money to go out here and buy these top title dogs.
Yeah.
That I want to incorporate inside my gene pool to make what my dog said. Hold on for a minute. Hey, shut up. Crazy. Yeah, that's daughter Drago. She crazy. And what I have did was, since I don't have the money to go out buy these top-notch title dogs, I can go and breed to them.
Mm.
And so I started on my journey and I bred to Dexter. And I bred him to a pure wild side dog named Raven. And Raven came from Old Glory Kennels. Yeah. And I got 3 females. Man, let me tell you something. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. But it's a reason why I did that breed.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back to El Negro's mom.
Okay.
El Negro mom was a Chinaman Niggerino female, and her mama come off a Zipper. Zipper was off of Niggerino to Sasha. Sasha was Zipper was a double bred Niggerino female. And Tom talk about it in his podcast about Sam them giving him the dog.
Yeah.
Well, by me choosing Wild Side was because of Ed Fair and them having some of the best dogs of all times. They based their whole program on Band to Sasha. So all I did is took a distant cousin, come from some of the best bulldogs of all time, and bred them back with the best bulldogs of all time.
Mm.
And got everything I asked for in these dogs. And so I'm old school. When I'm in old school, I got a pen and paper. I can go in the house. I can grab my pen and paper right now. I got a program. I write it down. I analyze it. I visualize it. So like sometimes you can pencil line and you can see a lot of different breedings that I have on pencil line. Some of them might not exist yet. It's just my thought process, you know. And like I said, I'm old school with the thing. A lot of people, like you said earlier, like a lot of people who deal with scatterbred dogs, this, that, and the third. It's nothing wrong with what they doing because that's their lane, you know. But as for myself as a professional breeder and dog man, I look for something else in my dogs. Yeah, you know.
And those guys are gonna come to you.
Well, you know, if they do, I'm gonna give them the information first. I'm gonna give them the information. You just can't come to me and get a dog without me giving you the information and breaking down to you the whole genetic gene pool. Even down to El Negro, a lot of people don't understand the genetic gene pool of the greatness that's in that dog. You got Rascal. You got Pedro to come off a Rascal. You got Niggerino. You got Chinaman. You got Eli Jr. You got the Hall of Fame dogs. But they're all in one genetic gene pool. Okay? And off of all these Eli dogs, and that's what I'm saying, like this, I look as breeders, because breeders, you don't have many of them around. And I salute all the dudes that are out here right now that are paying attention to program wise, paying attention to the female, not only the male, the female who is producing. Because when you breed her to more than one male, she produces top-notch individuals for you every time. So when those certain breeders go to a certain extent and make sure their program is right, and I got a couple of partners that I mess with, like Upgrade Kennels, Pharaoh Kennels, you know, KTK Kennels, like I said, Swamp Water, and many more, you know what I mean? Salt Bottom, and a lot of guys that they're doing what they're supposed to do. Yeah. They're tweaking it and they're getting it right.
What would be the greatest advice that you may have received from somebody that really like clicked into your program and what you got going on over there?
First of all, besides God, everything is possible. But besides my wife, but the support, my man, he stands by me 100 strong. You know, man, he from Seattle, Washington. I sold him a dog off of was off Angus the Barracuda, right? And he's loving it. It's 75% wild side with a quarter El Negro gene. Basically, what you got, an Eli Jr. bred dog. And but what I heard so much support about was, hey man, you got a good woman there that got your back and to stand by you. But it all goes back down to this. That woman had a lot of patience to deal with me. You know what I mean? She could have walked away for a long time ago, but she had patience and she knew. I'm gonna tell you what she always said to me: know your worth. She always tell me, she said, know your worth.
Yeah.
And once you realize that, man, that's everything. And I tell anybody out there that's with these dogs or whatever you do in life, know your worth. Know her worth too. Know your kids' worth. Know their worth. Because when your women recognize your worth, you'll leave a lot of stupid stuff alone. Because you recognize, man, everything you try for, look for all your life is right there in front of you.
Same thing what you were saying about the dogs in your yard. You going out there looking for something else when it just might be right there on your.
You think the grass is green on the other side,
huh? I love this, man. I love this interview. Well, now I gotta get. You know what? I gotta get into it because you
okay.
Negro dog, and that was something that I was seeing in your bloodline. But I wanted to ask you about Garner's El Negro and like the impact. Just period. What's your impact on the El Negro dog, not just in your yard, but just in the breed and what it has done for the game? Just period in the dog game.
You know what? I can't do no but smile about that right there. And I'm not being biased to nobody else's strands, right? But here's a strand of dog. It's in Russia, Japan, everywhere. Just like Jeep and everything else. But here's the kicker to all that right there. When I went up to Tom, I was breeding. I was doing at the time. I think I was taking another female up to Akuma at the time. And Tom said, and I showed Tom the pig, right? Tom said, "You're a very smart man." And I said, I ain't do nothing to him. I winked my eye. Because I know his yard man is gonna see this, right? Right. I winked my eye at him, right? He said, "Look around." He said, "Look around my yard." His whole yard was El Negro dogs. Man, the El Negro dogs can change the world, man, for the Eli dogs. You know, if somebody say this, that, and third, 90% of the people out here right now got Eli dogs in their genetic gene pool. I mean, El Negro dogs in their genetic gene pool. Some of the major time guys out here that's breeding dogs today, you might have a quarter of that in your blood. Or you might have a quarter of Ghana dogs in your blood, however you want to look at it. But each one will bring something different to the table.
Yep.
But that El Negro, it will live on this yard to the day I die. And people could not deny they are some of the most powerful, well-built dogs. Now, over time, I noticed more of the El Negro dogs have changed as in structure. Some have got a little bit more athletic built. When I got my dogs, they was more bulkier to the frame, like almost people might say like Bobby Peru type style. Well, my dogs are built similar like that, but it's not because of the Bobby Peru style. It's more because the wild side genetic coming from the nigga Reno coming up with my dogs, right? And being into the blood because my Barracuda, my female called Barracuda, she's 50% Dexter, 50% wild side. No Bobby Peru. But Bobby Peru is bred just like El Negro. People don't realize that. Even though El Negro is his dad, they don't look at the female, the male that made his mama bred to Ripple. He had a percentage of Maverick, small percentage of Maverick, come off a son of Maverick, small percent, but the female was Eli Jr. bred.
Yeah.
Same percentage as inside El Negro. A lot of people don't pay attention to that. And I'm gonna make people go look at the pedigrees on these dogs today, and they're gonna be like, wow.
Yeah. They're gonna do it right after this interview.
Yeah, they're gonna have to do it.
Well, because listen, man, I'm learning so much. Even though it might not be exactly the same lane I'm going. We might not be
Yeah.
going down. Man, what I'm hearing, it make me want to, you know what I mean? But I can see what you're doing, man. You're bringing together different lines in the Eli family, and you are bringing the family tree back together as far as like that Eli blood. And well, can you break it down for us just a little bit more? Because I
Okay.
know that what we was getting into was going to go there. If you mind, I'd love for you to break it down and just show me your
Okay.
vision of that.
All right. I could say, I'll tell you what, in my process, and like I said earlier, with Tom and buying of quality dogs, at the time I didn't have the money. And I say I was breeding to the quality dogs that I liked for my gene pool. And every dog that I bred to, he had that specific trait to him where he showed it, whether it was with the style or the mouth. He showed that specific trait. Well, if you look back at Tom, Crenshaw, all them people programs, if you look at the dogs, how they bred their dogs, they bred dogs to the dogs that show the same desirable traits. The dogs could have similar bottom versus if I got a Bolio dog, right, that is I love to death, and all it shows everything in all categories. And I see a Sorrel dog over there and showing everything in all categories. I could breed them together, right? They show the same similar traits, but they also got genetic family resemblance.
Yeah.
Then I say, you know what? I bred the family together for a long enough time, but I need me an out. Well, somebody might have a Boyle's Eli dog. Well, I can incorporate that. Well, Boyle's already have enough Eli in it, but it also got a family trait to the Sorrels and the Bolio line.
Yeah, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So now I'm gonna bring that in, but I only need nothing but a quarter of it. Soon later, I'm gonna win it down, but I got something else on the yard to keep it right, you know. So here, my process here, like when I bred to the NASCAR dog, and everybody said, "Oh, the dog is scatterbred." I said, "No, it's not." I said, "It's lamb breed. It's just distant cousins." Oh, until later on, they started understanding. Yeah, because where a lot of people fall short at is you got so many amazing dogs out here, and you want to breed to this dog because it's title, but that don't mean that dog is right for your program.
Yes.
You know, because the title on them, it don't mean it's right for your program. You know, I got people all the time asking me, "You gonna breed to this, that?" No. Oh man, want to give you the dog off this? No.
Yeah.
Why?
You got the right blood. You got the right blood.
You got to come for certain gene pool if I'm going to enhance it in my yard, and I have. I haven't, you know, not all by myself. Other people got quality dogs that I have, you know, and to my genetic gene pool besides Tom. You know what I mean? And I look, I do the process, and I see how it's gonna go. But without the world, you cannot check that process. So you need other people who help and involved in raising them, grooming them, to where they could be the best American Pit Bull Terrier that they could be. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Eric, you know, just, you know, for the shits and giggles side of things, man.
Yeah.
When you're not dealing with the dogs, what do you do with your time, man?
God damn. Well, number one, I'm right here with this Michelob. On this Grey Goose right here. You feel me?
Yeah.
Besides that, man, you know.
Enjoying yourself.
Yeah, spending time with the wife, going fishing, but man, and besides work, man, my majority of my time, man, I sit on this back porch and look at my dogs and have a thought process and just, and happy with God to bless me with, right? Bless me with one of the best dogs in the world and a home and everything. So I just sit back, man. This is what I do,
You just like being grateful.
Man, let me tell you something. 'Cause where I came from, bro, the old me, I've been in the streets. But the old man that is here today, he's a lot more humble.
Yeah.
I
can dig it.
Time will make you humble.
Well, if I was to ask you, and it doesn't have to be anything that you have on your yard, or it could be with your yard or something you had in the past, whatever. I don't care if you hop in the time machine, something you read in the sports journals in the day. Who's your all-time favorite dog of all time? Yes, yeah.
Oh, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's already there. It's El Negro. And look, I came because I was not there when Chinaman. So I cannot speak on dogs that I didn't see. I didn't witness El Negro do nothing, but I seen him and pet him myself on Tom Yard. But then to experience the offspring directly off for him, man, it changed like I said, man, it changed my life. Then 10 and a half years later, man, I was chasing that blood down. When I chased it down, I chased it down good. Because I bred to some of the best sons he ever had. Some people might say, talk dirty on him. I don't care. I'm a grown man. I ain't worried about what the next man think. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you've seen it. But you're like, I see my dogs. And I know who daddy is.
When Tom said, you put it on top and you put it on bottom, a lot of crunch in there. Yes. But when you tweak it, then put it back together. Oh, Lord, I'm
going to leave this one for my audience right there.
Okay.
You said something. You said something right there just a few seconds ago that was like secret game. You said something that breeders won't tell the next guy. That's why they'll say, oh, just do whatever. And tell me that you get it, but you said something right there that was secret game.
Yeah.
Tweak.
Man.
And
I'm going to
they won't understand that till they've been able to do that. And I know what you're getting at right there.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you could own any dog in history, would it be El Negro or would it just be like, you know what? I might take his.
If I could pick more than one,
okay, let's go with it.
All right. If I could pick more than one, it'll be Niggerino, Rascal, Shadowman. They're my males, right? El Negro, he'll be in the month. Frisco.
Yeah.
I don't, and I will blend it later, within certain blends, right? But those will be my foundation of dogs. Who basically my dogs are foundation on already. Yeah. And all of them can. Yeah. That's the point. Coming through the Black Shine dog. Copper's Black Shine. If you look back on that, Rascal and Niggerino's almost bred identical. And people wonder why they crossing the Rascal stuff to the Niggerino stuff, because they know how they breed. And a lot of people don't. That's when the pedigree and stuff come back. People say, "Oh, they could be lying on it." Yeah, it could be lying on it. But guess what? Certain parts of that ain't a lie. 50% of it can't be a lie, and it's working. Yeah.
Yes, you are right. You are right. Well, hey, here goes the part of the show.
All righty. And I'll drink to that one.
I call it quick fire questions.
Yeah.
It's just where I ask you this or the other, you know what I mean? And you just kind of give me your main, which one you'd rather go with. Okay, treadmill or carpet mill?
Well, I think you need both, because both give you different points to working a dog. So you both is helpful to you.
Okay, both it is. Okay, tug of war or fetch?
Because tug of war builds strength in the neck into with the back ass in, and fetch give you wind.
Yes, it does. And I think something with fetch is it just kind of puts that command on that dog too. It just lets him know, come back to me.
Yeah, that's that bond. That's that bond.
Yeah. Let's go with collar or harness.
I would go more on the harness with less on the neck.
You know what?
Because the dog working, you have less pulling on the neck, and it's more working on the chest.
You know what? You just said something that just clicked in my mind. See, I always had that in my mind, what you just said. And then I started to just kind of look at all the dogmen. You get out there and you're thinking, oh man, they're so cool. Why don't they use the harness? They all use the collar. And then I started using the collar on the dog and just noticed a few times, especially with the walking. I think I'm done with, long row work with the collar, because they get to pulling and then get to coughing and I'm just like, I think you're right about the harness, and I started to say to myself, go back to the harness, Poker.
Well, as for collar, now if you're doing walking wise, right, and the dog doing all that choking, that means you gotta do more work with the dog as keeping him in check to where he can just pace him or herself to a way that it won't be hurting him or anything like that. So when you put it on that meal and stuff like that, we want the dog to be able to be more relaxed and everything. But it's to each his own. Because
yes, it is.
My opinion is just my opinion, and other people got their own thing.
And you know what? You're right about that too, because like you said, we always got to remember every dog is an individual, and some of them.
That's right. I love it. That's my main thing right there. They're individual. Don't think because he like that. Don't think that one gonna be the same way.
Mouth or game,
bro. First of all, you gotta have both, because you could be game. This what people get is overrated, and when I say game is overrated, game just come back to what you just said. Individual. Mm-hmm. Game is what we call heart.
Yes.
All right. When I'm gonna put it this way: when Michael Jordan was playing for the Bulls and he had the flu, he was sick as a dog, and a lot of people remember them games. Mm-hmm. And he was game enough to stay there to finish it out. So gameness is on individuality. Now, people say, oh, I got this dog's game. If you calling the game because how it's bred, or you calling the game what it display, because it's levels to gameness.
Yeah. Okay. So let me ask you this one. Let's go chain or kennel run. And I'm looking in your back, so I figured maybe you could tell us how you feel.
Look, I'm gonna be honest. I got kennel runs, right? Because that's what the law tells me to do. But let me tell you, I think the dogs get more exercise on the chain. And
I love this.
And see, and on the chain, not on the exercise, they get the sun. The dogs love bathing in the sun.
Yes, they do.
And they get the vitamin D. And people say, oh, they don't get vitamin D. Look, they just like my black ass. I get vitamin D from the sun. They get this same. Ain't no damn difference.
Yes, they do.
You know what I mean?
Yes, they
do. Dogs enjoy being right now. I take them out the cages, and I do put them on a chain. I'm going to put about a 100-foot runner out this bitch soon. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Do you get a lot of snow down there? You get a lot of snow down there?
Oh, not at all. That's what I love. I'm from Virginia, right?
I know. If they weren't, I was just gonna say, if they weren't getting no vitamin D, I mean, I get snow out here, but if there's a day where the sun kicks in, even if it's cold, and I'm like, yo, go in the house. They want that sun.
They want that sun. And the same way, look, I can be sitting right here on the porch, and it's cool right here, but it's out there. I go out there and sit in that sun for a minute. Yeah. Because it's like it pours, the sun give you energy.
Yeah.
And a lot of people might say, well, no, this or that, right? But it gives you energy, you know what I'm saying? And for these dogs to not to have the benefit of that sometimes, now you want to keep them sheltered 24/7, you can't do that because you keep an animal sheltered a whole daggone life. You open up an animal, a beast, because it's not used to the world. You're doing the dog world justice, as in you're interviewing different men from different walks of life. And what people don't understand, some people might look at people, oh, that man was trash. That man is giving you his experience from his different walk of life. And some what people don't understand, excuse me, we all look for the same thing when they need dogs. We all look for the greatness. You know, I'll be honest, I did time, not behind the dogs, right? Behind running the streets, you feel me? And throughout my time, man, I done wrote books and everything. I got stuff published, I just haven't ain't put it out, you know? And I was talking to my man Coop, and we think about, you know, putting out one of the things I got. It's not gonna be a one-time thing. It's gonna be a generational thing. They give you their look on the American Pit Bull Terrier for so many different ventures, like y'all doing on your podcast, but deeper. To the point, but I makes it so fun. When I mean so fun, I can't give it all to you at once, right? Yeah. But I should go in the house and grab a copy of it that I had wrote. But you're gonna love it.
Yeah.
But I won't say it here. It's what I call it's called the American Pit Bull Terrier Trivia and Activity Book. Where I will be able to teach your kids about the American Pit Bull Terrier, and they can also learn mathematical problems, dealing with the dogs, and crossword puzzles, everything, man. I got so many goddamn things, and it's amazing. And like I said, that I talked to my man Coop, and me and him might doing a joint ventures together, and doing it. And the process is everlasting because history is made every day.
Yeah.
Like I said, what you're doing with the dogs and with your podcast, man, this is everlasting. It's because people look at your thing and go back 5 or 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, and look at the interviews. And your legacy, I don't know if you looked at it or not. That way, man, is up to a lot of greatness because you're shining on a lot of things and miseducation about these dogs.
Well, Eric, you know what? Before I get, because I had those questions, that I was about to go.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
I was about to say, I seen you have transportation.
Oh, well, I was doing the transporting, right? I was transporting my own dogs, and I still might just open it all the way back up. And I usually, do transport my own dogs to, to the people, to the location and stuff like that, right there. But also, if I don't, they're going young dogs, stupid, man. And get out their cage, man, did it? It's just some young dogs. I'm gonna walk down while we talk. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's hey, man.
Yeah. So, I'm just I got people who would do airport transport for me, the whole 9 yards. I just gotta, I just contact them.
Right. Yep, I know what you mean.
Hey, y'all two, stop it. So look, these the two right here. I'm gonna turn the thing away from me, right? It's making all the noise. You see them?
Yeah.
They are heavy El Negro dogs with the Nice to the round table on bottom was basically a Jeep Shorty cowboy type truck.
Dang. Hey, if
You
you know
seen them?
anything about me, man, I love, and I'm about performance, of course.
This right
Just
here is
love-
a
I ain't gonna say
thoroughbred
you know,
NASCAR
I love
female right here.
underdog.
She's off Talladega to Ferrari. This right here, that big male is off of the little mate to that other dog you seen, big
Yeah.
fat stuff. And the other two black dogs are off Snake to Uno. This is the dog that's off of Nick Foley to
Yeah.
Bandit. Simon Niggerino. This
Yeah.
is a
I
super tight El Negro dog. She's off of Snake to Miss Dexter. I just gave you a little small look at a couple of dogs real quick.
You might that black dog. I bet it's staying on your yard, huh?
Huh?
The black one you just showed me. I bet
What you say?
it's staying on your yard, huh?
Oh, none of them for sale.
Oh.
One of the brindles was leaving, and one of the black puppets are leaving out of that. The rest staying here. Yeah, the rest staying here.
I like that one, man. You never
You
know.
know,
You
that's
never
it.
know what might
I
happen
didn't
in
go over there and look
the
at.
future with that.
Yeah, I didn't go in that cage and nothing like that right there. You know, that were the big boys them at. You know,
Um,
but you know,
so Eric, what kind of legacy do you and Game Plan Kennels plan? I ain't even gonna ask you want. I'm gonna say plan to leave on the APBT community.
everlasting. So what that means right there is there's no beginning, there's no end.
Okay.
There, when I'm dead and gone, I'm trying to lead this to somebody to take over from where I'm at, if either his family or a friend that got kids or anybody, you know, when I'm dead and gone, I want somebody to take over my legacy. And I already know you can't think like me, but I want you to be better than me.
Mm.
And like, I would speak about this right here, and I know I can speak about it and say it and smile about it. And I know he will too. Tom Garner would say to you, and he would want you to take his line of dogs, make them better than him. Hey, I'm going to drop a Jew.
Okay.
So when you're looking at genetics, right? You got 4 to 5 generations that we look at on a spectrum dealing with on a breeding, right? We look at the first 2. That's the ones who doing the breeding, and then we look at the ones behind it. Some people stop at number 4, some go to number 5. But in that process, every dog in their genetic gene pools plays a part. Some people look at, oh, the dog ain't acting like him. Well, you know, it could took from the mom and the grandparent on either side. Or his daddy that you don't know nothing about, or his granddaddy that you don't know nothing about. That is the key part of knowing about your family history. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're knowing how to twerk your car the right way, just tweak it a little bit, then you know how to continue. That's why I always use them. People hate when I always bring them up. I'm gonna bring them up because he is the next Maurice Carver, and he already been there. Tom Garner. Tom Garner would not really allow a dog on his premises or in his program without his dogs already present in the gene pool.
I mean,
either you did the breeding or I did the breeding. He's not gonna do it.
No, I hear you.
So the reason why I mentioned him about it, right? Man, I'm tell you something. The man don't have to talk to you to learn from him.
Mm-mm.
Me, I don't mind talking. Tom is a businessman. He deal with a lot of people. I don't mind talking, man. I talk all goddamn day. You feel what I'm saying? But you know, at time, you know, one thing about him, and he might when he, like I say, somebody gonna speak on it and somebody gonna tell Tom, right? Oh, he glorified Tom. Nigga, I don't care what them people out there say. Because you ain't seen what I've seen and you ain't own what I have owned. And you might never, because you don't know how to get out your own damn way. But one thing I say about this, what I try to teach people, you don't have to own a Tom Garner dog to honor and respect what he did with the dogs, what he did with the different lines that you could do with your own lines. This what he trying to show everybody, but he can't give the game up to everybody so easy. And I'm here gonna tell you, bro.
I've watched his videos, and I'm gonna say that I think he has gave the game up, but bro, people have the patience.
You said it again. You said it again, brother. Don't always try to be who you always was. Elevate. With these dogs are all spectrum of the thing. And that's what I always,
I want my audience to tap in on that word. Elevate.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Elevate, man.
A lot of the dog men I know that was doing a lot of stuff back in the days. They
didn't elevate.
They said the young dog man that I was, and you got everybody out there in the dog world praising them for everything that they did and all this and that. But then when you hear them, they're like, yo, that guy that I was, y'all don't understand. Love your dog.
Yeah.
When you love your dog, you put that at the top. Just like with a boxer or anything or whatever you got going on or whatever sport, any sport, walk,
right,
all that. When you can put love at the beginning of that, everything else will fall in line to whatever you're trying to do with them. And like when you said,
sorry to cut you off. I wish my wife, was out here because she got to go to work, I guess, because she's sleeping. But I wish she was out here. Because I want her to always be a part of this right here, because it ain't all about us men. It's about, you always used to hear about in the day with Floyd and everybody, right? But the women that was behind us men. And they don't, they play a part in everything. I don't give a fuck if my wife just go get me a bag of dog food. Boy, I'm the happiest motherfucker in the world. Excuse my French. Anybody who's been paying attention to the podcast and everything, if y'all would like to hit up Game Plan Kennels, my number is 804-352-8585 to have certain questions to me personally. You can call me anytime. But anything illegal, I was just telling your audience that if anybody, want to contact me, I did a thing real quick with the bill and the Grey Goose. Being funny on that one. But if they want to, if they want to contact me, they could contact me at my number. I put my number out there. I said, but if they want anything illegal, I'm gonna block them.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, we as dog men, real men, and everything, what you do with your hands, your personal business. If you sleeping with them, don't never let me find out about you sleeping with them, because you should be outcast of being a human being. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. What would be your advice for any newcomer into the breed that's just like, I gotta have it?
Okay. I'm glad you said that right there. When you seek your information, if anybody tell you don't read the pedigree, don't pay attention to them. All right? And the reason when I say this right here, I'm going to drop a major Jew when I say this. And this is no racial thing going out or nothing like that, but I'm going to drop this Jew, but it's a coincidence, right? When black folks back in the old days, they said If you give them a book, they ain't gonna read it in any damn way. It's like a pedigree. You give them a pedigree, they ain't gonna read it in a goddamn way. Some of them go like, oh no, it's the truth. I got guys older than me can't read a goddamn pedigree. Right? But do I knock them? No. I help educate them. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's because it's right here. On the way the dogs can get better, and on the ways people, when I mean people, it's all general, because my daughter is not all black. She's a mix. So anybody want to say this? No, she's a biracial. Yeah. So anybody want to say, oh no, let's keep it real. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I will go all the way about that one. You know what I mean? But what I try to tell people is this: take care of the dogs like you take care of your kid at home. Take care of your home like you take care of your home house. You know, man, I had my dogs many years ago in keep boxes and everything, on chains and everything. And as time, I invested. My wife invested in me. You know. And I tell her, man, I get new man said, oh, my woman wouldn't do that. No, why the woman won't do that? I'm gonna keep it real. What have you done for her besides just buy her pocketbook? When did you just tell her every day she's the beautiful thing you ever seen? You used to say that, but you allow another man to say that. Another man can't tell my wife that, because I'm gonna make sure every day before my wife walk out of this house, she gonna know that. So when you got a established foundation. Now I'm going back to the dogs. You got an established foundation where it's inbred, line bred. Them the best two. And, you know, niggas say outcross. They can say outcross. Okay, outcross depends how much outcross in the gene pool. But if it's line bred or inbred, man, you can do marvelous things with it.
If there was one thing that you could debunk right now for my audience about the American Pit Bull Terrier, could you just do that right now for them?
Yes, don't pay attention to media and half of the people that you walk around here about talk negative on the dogs. I've been breeding these dogs I've been dealing with the American Pit Bull Terrier since the age of, I'm gonna say 12. My mom might say, you know, younger than that, but I'm gonna say from 12. And I'm 55. I'm 53 right now. So, you know, I was born in the 70s. You see what I'm saying? So, don't believe everything you hear. But some of the information you hear is good. Allow yourself to channel it to help you. Some information you gotta.
Man, this was a great interview today, Eric. And we have a thing on this show that we call give a dog a bone. It's kind of like give a man his flowers. I want to give you your bone, man, and I want to tell you that I appreciate having you on this show. I appreciate everything that you've shared with some of the audience. I almost wonder if you wasn't drinking some of this when that came out, because that's why we have Beer N Bulldogs, and I wish that more audience members would take a sip too, because it would loosen them up to go ahead and give some of this game. And you know what? It's not about us, like you were saying. It's not. It's about
you just said it right there. Yeah, it's about the dogs, 100%. This is what I want all my people who's paying attention and everything. I'm gonna tell you about me. I'm a monster, and when I'm not mean monster in bad way, I mean, man, my mind is everlasting. You know what I mean? I went away and I did major time for the life I used to live. Boy, they shopping that knife, and they shopping that knife, they shopping that knife, they shopping that knife, and the skills is in my head. Woo-wee. You don't even understand the depth of knowledge that life gives you.
Yeah.
You ain't even touch. Listen, schoolboy, he was nice because he didn't give you that depth yet. Let me tell you, he ain't give you that. And you know what? And the reason why I say this right here, because you know what I'm doing right now, right?
Oh, I know.
Something that I'm allowed for. I want him to hear it. And I want Tom them to hear it. And I want all these people to hear it. But I want them to stay safe. Because the depth of knowledge that they're going to give you, man, it's so everlasting. Half of these people ain't ready for it. And you spoke on my board earlier. Rasta, man, a legend in his time. And he don't get all the flowers that he deserves.
Oh, on my show he does. On my
Just
show he does.
look, let me keep it real. Man, let me tell you something. Me and Roston never had no dealers, but we met at Tom Garner for a brief minute. Ross probably didn't know who the fuck I was, but he probably heard about me. You know what I mean? Because when I walk across the thing, everybody in the world didn't know the game plan. But Roston, man. The only difference with Roston and everybody else in the program, Roston was in the dirt, you know what I mean? Doing his thing. You know what I mean? But now he's giving out jewels that people need to pay attention to and need to learn from his bad news.
But
you see what I'm saying? Because he can give you the good and the bad at the same time.
you said the same thing Rasta said. You said the same thing Rasta said. And this is a game for my audience out there, was that you love these dogs like your children, like your woman.
Yeah.
Like every show gets better and better, and this is where we're at right now.
Yeah.
And I just I thank you. I thank you, Eric. I thank you for
I thank you. And like I said, you know, man, you is supporting the breed in a good light. And you know, your questions is good. And all I could tell anybody who coming into this breed, take your time, do your research, and don't be so fast to listen to everybody and everybody's decisions on these dogs, because it might take you 5 or 10 years to realize your worth. The whole time you living under their worth.
On that note, Eric, we're gonna have to do a part 2.
You can reach out to me. You got my cell phone number. You can reach out to me anytime you want, and we can go in depth on breedings a little bit deeper. Anytime you want to go in depth on certain levels, we can do that, you know.
Yeah. I didn't really get into nutrition with you, but we will, like I said, we will have part 2 to this. And I don't really have an outro for this show, Eric. But to all my listeners out there, from Beer N Bulldogs, till next time, cheers.